Good morning, good afternoon, good evening across the country, around the world. Welcome back to the Kerbal Space Program. This is going to be episode 28, the final episode for the year. We're going to jump into 3 launches. And the first of the 3 launches, there it goes there, is a launch to send up a, well, it's a truss, unpressurized, no crew tubes on or whatever, just a truss with some support stuff. At the bottom, it's going to have, 12 docking ports? We're going to have something of a little fuel farm down there. We're going to end up plopping on a whole bunch of the, what are they called? Well, my spherical style docking, or no, spherical style fuel tanks. Those are going to be on there. There, you can see all the docking ports on the bottom half of that truss there. With a monopropellant tank kind of wedged in the middle. I thought it was nice to have that solid bit of monopropellant tank, just to kind of give it a little more substance, a little more structure. But yeah, that's what we're setting up first, and it's launched pretty well. Everything was fine. I didn't look at where the space station was, try to launch to match any kind of a window of any kind. I just do my normal thing, get it up there, and get it in orbit, find the intercept, figure it out, and set a timer for it. And because at that point in time we had 2 hours until the maneuver node to create the interception for the space station with that, that truss section, I launched the other part. Obviously I built it off camera. This is a bit bigger, well, obviously inside a bigger, what is that thing called? Fairing, yeah, that's actually the 3-meter fairing? Yes, the 3-meter fairing, I think, something like that. Or 3.5, whatever it is, 3.75 meter, that's what it is, I think. Because what's inside is a bit chunkier and didn't fit. There you can see it there. This is going to be something of a docking truss. It's going to end up being a docking T, if you will. You can see the main truss with the pressurized tube inside it, and then the 2 smaller... They look kind of like outrigger engine nacelles, like on some fancy spaceship. Those are actually going to detach, be swung around, and docked on at 90 degrees to their current orientation. And it's going to be a docking T for various kinds of vessels. I have plans. I have ideas. They haven't come through yet, but I haven't built anything. But I have it tucked away in my head as to what's going to be docking onto that. And because I launched the 2 very close, they were both going to be about the same time. So I said, nope, can't do it. So I just went to the first one because I knew I already had maneuver nodes set up for it. And I just let time advance, and we were going to zip around. I could have cut this out or gone down to the space center or the tracking station, but I didn't. So it's going to go around, I think, like 3 or 4 times, at least once more. I think like once more into the sunlight before we end up getting to where we end up actually doing a maneuver node. I think this is a, what is this? The home and transfer burn here, really small. And is it that one? No, it was another one. Later on, we have trouble with some auto burn. Oh, that's the last section. Yes, not yet. We'll get to that later. So I ditched that last section. It's too big. I don't need it. I end up wasting it, sadly. So much wasted fuel. I am a bad person because I waste so much fuel. I feel really bad. I need to learn how to do stuff better. And even that small pot of fuel down there, don't need that much. I can get by with a much smaller bit, especially these completely open trusses. The only mass of this really is in the monopropellant tank and the fuel tank at the bottom there. I don't need all that fuel tank. Anyway, this is going to dock on the, quote, bottom of the space station. I thought, I can dock it right there. Oh, wait, never mind. That's where the escape vehicle is, so we go over to currently the space station's right. Go to the bottom side of that docking juncture. It's one of the Rockomax like hexa connector things that has docking nodes on all 6 sides, or at least 5 sides, because it's hard connected to the other side. So we stick it there, and I think it was rotated. Yeah, it ended up being kind of rotated more than I wanted it to be. I want it to be closer to square. So after looking at fuel and things and what to do and what not to do, nothing to do. I undock it, and it ends up getting really, really squirrely and funky, and it doesn't cooperate, and the RCS isn't balanced, and I was too heavy-handed, and I think because it ends up just wobbling so badly away, I'm like, no, try this again. We go back to there, a quick save, quick load, because that's what they're for, to reload. So I was much gentler with it this time. Much gentler, I think. Yes, and then we get it back on, and we actually have it oriented to where I am pleased with it. And that is the first piece. And then here we switch to the other guy. Oh, we switched to this. I thought I could save this, and I probably could have, maybe, if I'd done something different, but I didn't realize until later that, until after this, it's like, oh, the probe core that's on there is the only source of power, and it dies after like a few minutes because it only has 5 units of electricity. So I tried to do it again, and it didn't work out. So I said, skip it, never mind. Oh yeah, here we go. I tried to do it again, but it ends up, yeah, kind of not working because of the lack of power. And now that we have that fuel pod truss attached, we can go back and get the docking truss attached. The second part of this, what at this point was a 2-part launch. Yeah, okay. I guess I had burnt down time better and didn't have to sit in orbit like I did last time. But we get it lined up, do the fine-tune the node, or fine-tune the intercept, I think. Yay for MechJeb. And at this point, I think, yep, ditch at lower stage, don't need it. It's unmaneuverable. Again, waste of fuel. I'm a bad what? Head of the space program, I guess, if that's what my role is in the game. I'm a bad person. But we get it up to the space station, and like anything else, dock it and get things kind of in place. Again, this will end up being like a docking T. I do have the large, what's it called? Docking port seniors on the sides there. So they'll be there for that utility in case I really want it as something to dock. In case I build something big and really want it to dock with the space station, I can do that. Oh yeah, I burn to get it to go up above the space station because I want it to dock onto the top. But then we detach those 2 side tubes and reattach them in the correct orientation. I have plans, like I said, I do have plans for what to do with those 2 long arms of the docking arms, whatever you want to call them. I have plans, but I haven't quite designed those vessels yet. But we will have something attached to them. I think some sort of an escape vehicle will be up there, possibly 2 of them that look the same, maybe. Because I do want to send up more other science things. That's part of where, that's actually a large part, mostly of where all this is going. But again, I want to stick to my, I don't know, the rules I set for myself that if I have Kerbals on the space station, they need to have enough space to have a habitat somewhere, and they need to be able to escape if they need to. And right now I can only evacuate the 3 that are currently docked with that one little escape vehicle down below. Oh yeah, I thought I could use this guy to do some of the docking control stuff, to grab onto those little arms, and I realized, oh wait, this thing has no internal RCS of its own, so I can't. So I didn't. So I just said, goodbye, go away, burn up. But I snagged this guy, this piece. This was a probe that was sent up to do probe-to-probe docking, or is it probe-to-man docking? One of them. I think I used it for both, actually. But it's got RCS control, it's got solar panels, it's got everything I need. So I figured, all right, glad I kept this little space tug around. We'll utilize that to latch on to the side-mounted docking arms. I apologize if I'm interchanging terminology. Docking arms, docking truss, docking T. You see what's happening. I think you'll gather what I mean. Yeah. So bring it in. Come on, let's dock. I realized something partway through this upcoming docking maneuver, and you'll see me do all the clicking, and it was tedious. But for a vessel that's going to be doing maneuvers like this, you don't need RCS all the way along it like I have. Like you can see, it's at the 2 ends, and then those 2 bits on either side of the docking modules. Unfortunately, with those 2 bits on the docking modules, it's off balanced. So I think I realized about here, I said, okay, wait, hold on. Whoa, stop. I realized, okay, can we, yes. So I go through and individual clicks, I disable all of those RCS thrusters. A little tedious, but it helps make it balance more maneuvered-like. Maneuvered-like? It helps the maneuvering be more balanced. That's what I'm trying to say. Wow. So that helps. It's tedious, though, because, again, I have to click on each one now to reactivate them on the space tug. Grr. I wonder if there's a command group that you could do that with somehow. I haven't gotten into those in this playthrough yet. But it's a way to accomplish things without a whole crap ton of stress for RCS stuff. So now we slowly drift over. That's the other part about RCS. Anything RCS, slow and steady. Slow and steady is the way to go. Don't be in a rush, because that's when you muck things up. Then we grabbed on again, and I think we... Oh, I re-enabled these, just so that in case we have to maneuver the space station, they have maneuverability as well. They're not dead weight. I could have deactivated them while it was attached, but I didn't. I did it now. Again, kind of tedious. 8 clicks, well, 8 objects, and then like 16 clicks to get those deactivated. But yeah, once I did that, I was like, oh yeah, that makes things much easier. This one kind of wobbled away and got a little more out of control. Oh, that's what it was. The rotational, whatever, between the two pieces, the rotation wasn't correct. They weren't lined up. I mean, you're never going to get something that's like 0 degrees lined up when you're just docking something. Not really, unless you're really good. But this was off by just enough degrees to where it was kind of funky. And it required a little finesse. But again, just be patient, slow and steady. Little light taps on the keyboard, I guess. I think this one ends up being a little bit spun. Just a little bit. Yeah. So there it is. Oh yeah, and I installed lights on these thinking, yeah, this is light up the whole sides of the thing, up and down, the whole length of the thing. And then I realized, wait, they only point down there. They don't point up the rest of the thing. So I plan to add one of the next missions, maybe, above where you see right now the HAB module and the science module, that docking port between those two that's pointing, quote, up. I'm going to add a like command and control and communications, a C3. Ooh, I like that. A C3 module with, you know, antennas, relay antennas, all the things on there. And I think on that I will install a number of lights to illuminate more of the station, because I think that'd be cool. I think it's cool to have a space station lit at night. Yeah, and so there's that. And we'll move on to the next bit, the last bit we attach for today. And this last bit we attach was, again, a simple launch, pretty light. I actually scaled down the amount of fuel tanks on this one, at least on the center stack there, because I keep just sending out so much extra fuel and wasting it. So, like, even at that point, I honestly almost don't need that big, all that stuff in the middle. I almost don't need it. Like, we're going to do this, and it's still way overkill, which is a pity. Anyway, this is the last elongation of the main truss of the space station, that main spine running all the way through. It's going to have, oh, you can't see it. I was playing through this. I was distracted with my phone and something else. I apologize. But also, it wasn't auto time warping. For some reason, it drifted and it wouldn't lock. I don't know what was going on. Also, I think partly because RCS was only on half of it and the bottom half didn't have it, so it was off balance and it was just kind of messy. Yeah, I don't know why it didn't auto warp. After a while, I just said, warp, and do it, and it would kill the warp on its own. Anyway, this is another truss with the pressurized tube in it, and at the end is the large, like the 2.5 meter hexa module, whatever it's called. It's not a stock one. I think it's an aftermarket or one of these station expansion parts one. That has 4 of the docking port seniors attached, and then on the end, 1 docking port standard. This is going to be the hub for science, the new science experiments. There's a science mod that I have that has assets, and the 4 big ones are that size, that 2.5 meter size. So I want to stick them on using docking port seniors. Makes sense to me. Yes. So that's why there's 4 big docking port seniors on there. And then also at the end, there's a docking port junior. So those are some science. There's 2 of them that are science labs of a type, at least so far. There might be more that I haven't unlocked yet. I don't know. Maybe the station will be even more expanded. But then there's also 2 others that are that 2.5 meters that are big science experiments, that are big pieces of machinery that I want to just slap straight on 2.5, 2.5 without the narrowing to the 1.25 stiff. And then on the end, that 1.25, that I think I'll put a small truss on there eventually, and we can dock other experiments. This other experiment package was station experiments, and I want to try it out, but I don't know really how it's going to work. I think you can return some of those science experiment modules to the surface of Kerbin for more. I don't know. This is all going to be some experimentation that we will go through together. I think there's a YouTube video out there for it, but I haven't seen it yet, and I kind of don't want to find one. I kind of want to do it on my own and see how it works, see what I can find out, see what I can figure out to make it all work. And again, this was a point when I admit, off to the side. This is playing at 8 times acceleration, by the way, but this was another time where I was distracted by something off screen, on another screen. One of the other screens, my phone, my laptop, my iPad, or my wife came in and disturbed me. I'm not sure. But at the same time, it was like, nope, this is coming in nice and slow. I don't need to mess with it anyway. So it was easy to leave it alone and let it just kind of drift in. And then I realized, like, oh yeah, my docking node is covered. Move. And unfortunately, that little bit is a dummy bit. There's no smarts to it, so I couldn't do anything with it. But I could thrust the station itself away just a smidgen, and that's what we do. So this guy slowly comes in. It's actually, it was a little wonky to control. I think partly the orientation was really, really screwy. Like the NH, the back and forth makes sense, but the translational controls, the IJKL were all out of whack. Like there you can see it's like 180 degrees off. I rotate it once thinking maybe this will be better, and it's not. And then I have to rotate it one more time, and then the controls make sense to me visually to watch it here, to watch the vessel compared to the space station versus just the indications on the nav ball. But now, as you can see, the sky is out, the ground is down, and translational motions make much, much, much more sense. And then we bring it in nice and gradual and smooth-like, and that'll conclude the main space station infrastructure expansion, I think. Unless, again, some other big crazy experiments open up, this will be the end of it for now. And so here we are with the more or less completed Kerbal Space Station Dragon. I think because when I mounted these, yes, there are lights, but they're not exactly pointed where I thought they would. For some reason, I thought the T would go this way and it would point all the way across. So I think I'm going to build something like a grander command module to stick on top at this docking port. We'll have a larger viewing cupola, etc., on top, and we'll have some larger antennas. So it'll be kind of a communication center, but I'll have lights pointing like everywhere so that we can get more light all the way across. But we've got the fuel farm docking, module down here. We'll add some fuel pods to that in the near future. We got the docking arms to dock different vessels here, and then larger vessels up here. And then down here, the the space station science modules, because those modules, 4 of them that we're going to use soon, are the 2.5 meter diameter, and then on the end, I've got that 1.25 meter, and I think I'll attach a small truss so I can knock on different science experiments, because those are only 1.25. It's a different science experiment set that I haven't played with before, so this will all be a bunch of experimentation with the science experiments. That seems fitting. Yeah, I think I'll do a little work off camera. I think I'll send a few fuel pods up here, maybe at least 4 just to get it started, just to kind of take the fuel out of some of these fuel bits that are kind of hanging on, because I got a fair amount of fuel up here. Like most of these are still pretty full, and I had to ditch one Yeah, it's just hanging there, and there's nothing I can do about it, sadly. But we'll store the fuel here. We'll send up a fuel empty and see where that gets us. But that's it for this episode. That's probably it for this year of 2017. Next year we'll pick up. We'll see what happens. I'm going to Walt Disney World at the end of January for about 10 days. So we'll see what I record and get published during that second half. But thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. If you like, hit subscribe. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, pass the word. I will catch you later.